Okay, welcome everyone. If we can just start to turn our videos on because we'll be kind of working through these release techniques. So it'll be nice if I can also see what you're doing. And if I can kind of have a view of like how much you can see of me, like from the head to somewhere here, that would be great. Okay, perfect. So before we go into today's breathing and technique and all of that, I want to run us through a technique that we call segment release. Okay. And this segment release basically works on all the chakras, okay, all the different energy centers. But this is more of we have work that we do on a subtle energy level also. But today we're going to work with segment release, which sort of releases the energy, but it's a physical touch that we're working with. Okay. And before I go into the technique, just a little very broad idea of how we are going to start working with energy, right? So basically, there are two dimensions that we're working with. So one is the dimension of release, right? So where we are using techniques whenever something feels stuck, whenever there's an energy which feels blocked, we are working towards releasing it out. Okay. So getting it out of the system. And the second type of technique that we use is what we call the balancing or stabilizing or energizing, which is kind of where we are, for lack of better word, we are kind of connecting to a more universal energy. And we're sort of bringing that universal energy to stabilize, strengthen, energize different parts of the body. Okay. So today we're going to start by working on the release technique. Okay, so we are working with releasing stuckness, releasing stuck energy from the system. And we're going to start with uh, three chakras today. So we're going to work with the heart, we're going to work with the solar plexus, and we're going to work with the sacral. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you different points in the body that we work with and how we can use our hands to release stuckness from these points. Okay. So, first, when we work with the heart, we are working with two main points. Okay. So, the first point I want to show you. So, you see this part of like, where the clavicle kind of meets. So, you take four fingers. Yeah. And then somewhere towards the bottom of the little finger, this area. Okay. So this, it's called the angle of Louis. Okay. And it's somewhere in the center of the sternum. So this is the section that we want. So you see four fingers here and then just a little bit lower. Okay, now you start to play around with this and you will find a spot which feels particularly tender to touch. Okay, like what we call sweet pain. Like you will feel a particular part of the body where there is some kind of sharp sensation, pain sensation. And once you find that, yeah, is everyone sort of getting it? Yeah, this is the center where we are looking to release energy. Okay, so this is the first point, okay, in the heart. And the second point is easy. It's kind of exactly middle point of the nipples, right? So just here in the center of the chest. Again, if you start moving into it, you'll start feeling some kind of like sweet pain, what we call, okay? It's like you'll feel strong sensation there. Okay. So for the heart, these are the two main points that we're working with. How do we work with it? So when you're in a breathwork session, okay, if you feel like there's stuckness in the chest, maybe the breath is not moving to the chest, or it's moving in a very intense way in the chest, or there's something that feels blocked here, while you're in the breath, what you can do is you can bring your fingers, probably the index finger and the middle finger, to these points. Okay. And now how you work with them is kind of intuitive. So it's up to you. One way is to just press down on it, okay, with some pressure. Okay. The other way is if once you start feeling into it, maybe you want to make some like clockwise movements or anti-clockwise movements. The other one is just kind of like, you're moving your fingers up and down. So it's feeling like something is getting moved in the system, something is getting released. Okay, so when you're in the breath work, these are the areas that we're going to work with. Yeah, everyone's kind of getting this. It's clear. Just one thing to note, that once you're done, okay, with whatever movement you made, whether you pressed, whether you've released like this, whatever it is, once you done with the movement, you just kind of flick your fingers like this, okay? And this is a rule for whenever we are working with releasing any kind of stuck energy, any kind of tension, because the idea is that once it's out of the system, we are sort of releasing it back to the universe, okay, to sort of give it away. So always it becomes second nature, it becomes habit after a point. Probably when you're on the breath, it will come even intuitively. But once you are done working with this, just flick your hands, okay? And it's just like you're releasing it out. It's gone. Yeah? Everyone good with the first one? Okay. So we'll move to the second point now, which is the solar plexus. So this one is pretty simple. You see this part, okay? Just there's this hollow space, okay? In the like where the last kind of few ribs are. Okay, you will find this hollow space here. Yeah, can everyone feel it? Okay, so now when we are working with the solar plexus, again, there's a few ways. One way is you just press into it. Okay, you press into it hard. And the second way is if you want to work with this clockwise thing, you're pressing into it and you're just moving this like clockwise, anti-clockwise. Okay, just you'll be able to feel it like it's painful. Yeah, is everyone getting it? Yeah. So just here, and then we kind of work with it clockwise, anti-clockwise. We can work with moving it like this. Yeah, I can just feel it already in my
So
body.
I didn't understand the clockwise, anti-clockwise thing. Like we move the fingers
Yeah,
by
so
where
you
they are.
basically, so see, this is the point. Yeah. Now I put my fingers in the point and I'm just moving my fingers like this a little bit to just, if you want even deeper kind of sensation. And then again, the same thing, flick the fingers, release the energy. Okay. Everyone clear with the solar plexus? Okay.
How
And then the
long should we do
third
this
one
for?
that we're working with is the sacral. So from your navel, you'll take three fingers. Okay. You'll go down from the navel, three fingers. And then at the end of this third finger is where you're going to go into the sacral. And here, what you're going to do is you're going to take four fingers, okay, all the four fingers, and you can just kind of go into it like deep like this. Okay. So, how you want to work with this during the session is largely going to be guided by your intuition. Okay. So, sometimes you will feel like you want to go really deep with the fingers, you want to really release something, you'll feel it in the body. Other times, just a gentle touch will be enough and it will trigger something, it will open something. Okay. Once you feel that something has shifted, maybe you'll find yourself vocalizing, you might shout a little bit, you might feel it in the body, or once you feel that that shift has happened, again, just take the hands, release it out. Yeah. So now that I've showed you the points, I know that it's a lot of information and the points are kind of specific. So I want you to also just be a little flexible and a little bit loose about it. Okay. So in the session, don't get too worried about, am I touching the right point? Am I doing it correctly? Also know that how effectively it works is how much you are in the flow with it, right? So you have to kind of work with it with your intuition as well. So even if you're not 100% at the correct point, but it's feeling good in your body, it's feeling good in the system, stay with that. Okay. And your breath will also keep guiding you into what the movement should be like, how it should be moving. Um, and then just flick and keep going back into the breath and staying with that connected breath. Is this bit clear? Yeah. Anybody has any questions about this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you could repeat when we should be doing this or when it is not needed.
Yeah. So again, it's largely intuitive. but listen to the signals from your body. Okay. So, for example, if you feel like maybe the breath is not moving in the chest, or like it's moving in the chest, but it's moving very heavily, it's not, that wave is not flowing smoothly, or you feel like there is stuck tension here. Uh, you might feel like all kinds of weird sensations in the stomach or something uncomfortable in the stomach. So, wherever your body is guiding you into feeling like something needs a release, use your fingers to help.
Okay. Can I just uh, share in my case what I feel, and I'm not sure how that what that means.
Uh, what? Sorry, I couldn't hear the.
Can I just share like what I like? For example, for
Hmm.
me, I can't feel any kind of contact or anything happening around my sacral chakra. So does that mean that I should be rather doing it? And for example, 90% of my sessions, like I feel a very strong energy around my solar plexus, where I can feel some physical movement or energy moving around, but I don't feel it stuck. It feels rather way too intense. So does that mean that both these situations I should be using Chakra
Yeah,
again?
try it. Try it and see what is shifting, what is working. Another approach to go about it is also to relate it with the psychological or the emotional that you have been at, right? For example, in general, if you feel disconnected with the lower chakra, or if you feel disconnected from the heart, you can also use that at some point in the session. But again, hold it a little loosely and allow it to sort of flow with the breath, instead of having like a specific, like I'm going to do it like this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
So just allow yourself to play around with it a little bit. Just bring that
And it
sense
should
of
be like
play.
some microseconds I'm zooming like every
You
touch or
Yeah,
every step
see,
should be stay
your
with it.
your body will tell you. Sometimes you'll really want to stay on a spot, you'll want to keep moving it. You'll feel like it's not complete and you'll want to stay a little longer. Sometimes you'll do some touch and it'll feel like something shifted, something's open. Then you just go back to the breath.
Got it. Thank you.
Shipra, you have a question?
Yes. So, with respect to the sacral chakra, you said it was like a fist, right?
It's not a fist, it's these four fingers, okay? And
Okay.
you're just kind of going in with them. So
Okay. Okay.
it's like an arrow almost.
Okay. And can I use both hands on all the points instead of just one set of fingers? Or I mean, can I use both?
Go for it. Go for it. This is the
Oh,
area and this is how you want to move with it. So a lot of times you must have noticed that your body moves naturally, your fingers will go places, you start tapping things, you start stretching, you start moving. So intuitively your body knows where to go. What we're doing with this technique is giving you a little bit of a systematic approach to work with your body a little bit more during the session.
yes. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, so one more thing for today's session that we're going to do is we're also going to uh, work a little bit with some parasympathetic techniques, okay, before and after. So we'll do a few different breathwork techniques while lying down before going into the conscious connected breathwork. Then we're going to do the breathwork journey. And then towards the end, also, we're going to do some balancing techniques. Okay. So I'll guide you into it. Towards the end techniques, if you feel more comfortable doing them lying down, you can stay lying down and do them. If you feel okay to sit up and do them, you can sit up and do them. I'll guide you, but it's up to you how you want to flow with it. Yeah. Everyone good? Okay, perfect. So then we can just get the cameras on, we can go into our lying down position and we can get started.